because there are several videos on YouTube, and the one that I found that I liked the best was Sarah Beth Berry. We can play through her video, and it's going to tell you exactly what I've put in words here. So you can read it or listen to it. But the thing is, you have to make sure that you are set as the teacher in the course that you're sharing. You also need to make sure you're working in modules when you're sharing. You can divide the work up between team members this way. You can work on it, each can work on a separate piece of the unit, and then you can combine them together when you finish. This, cuts the workload in half, or even if there's 3 of you, wow, a third. Once you've shared the information, you can always edit the information to your style of teaching. So if you have gotten something from someone, you're not limited to how they've put their work in there. So you'll go to settings, which is at the very bottom, okay? And you find import course content. And of course, now I'm brain dead and can't find it. Nope. Okay, seriously.
It's on the right-hand side.
Oh, it's over here.
Right. It says import course content.
I can't see it because my Zoom is there and I couldn't see anything over there. Okay, so you go to settings and go to import course content. And then you're going to pick what you're going to import. Okay, you're going to either copy a Canvas course, you're going to pick one of these different things. Now, one of the things that I always do is I will try to actually go to a Canvas course, or, well, I'll show you. So you select the course, and it can be, let's say you want to go on here and you want to copy this one. So you can copy all of the CanvasPalooza onto yours if you want to. It says all content or specific content. Let's say that you get in there and this is finally in there, the sharing, importing it. You can just do that part and then select it and import. That's the first step of it. Let me go back to modules now.
When you're doing that, is there a way to search by teacher?
You can do that. That's what's next, okay? To find coworkers, you need to know their class name. So when you're doing it with coworkers, you go back to settings, import class content. Now I have to know the exact title of your course, and that's where you can put it in there. Once you know that course title, then you can type it in. I don't know anyone's course title, sorry, but if I did, I could put that in there and it would lead you to their course, and you can copy what you need from there. Okay, now that's one. Go ahead. Okay, that's one way. There's another way. If you choose, well, let me finish up on this slide first. I get ahead of myself. You find the coworkers, you bring it over, and once again, you can, it says find the module, put a checkpoint. You can use their work and change anything you want to, and it does not change their content. That's one way, okay? The next way, oh, I put this note on here. You can have more than one class open at a time. You don't have to navigate between classes. You go to the portal, click on Canvas again. I've had Canvas open in about 3 or 4 different ways that I've worked with and worked them, in between. It's going to save you a lot of time. You can also copy your own classes. That's one thing I could have shown you on the sharing. You can copy your own classes because you know the name of them. You'll only be able to work on the one class that you are currently looking at, though, obviously, okay? You can import a file without knowing the person's class name. This is where you go to Commons, here. Now, one thing in sharing, and this is importing and exporting, is when you go to Commons, you're gonna have, there's a filter right here, okay? You can go down this filter and you can check anything that you want, okay? You only wanna see courses, you only wanna see modules, only assignments, you can pick that. Then you can put templates or open textbooks. That's new, and I haven't really delved into that yet.
Would you show us where you click that again? I missed what you clicked on to open that.
Oh, to open this, I went to Commons and Filter. But this is all written down. Don't worry about it. I'll have it for you. Then you'll go to Just Birdville. Now, I wanted a class or a course that I could show my kids how to navigate Canvas. So I put in Navigating Canvas. Well, there's one here by Taylor Williams. I also put in just Canvas. And you can see that there are several from the district. Because I know what Andrew Tyler's work is like, I went ahead and clicked on his, and you're going to see it in my work. Tyler, if you're in here, thanks. But one thing you can do here, okay, you see all this, then you come over to this blue button and you click import and download. And it's going to ask you, where do you want it? So I'm going to put it in my sandbox that I have set up right now. You may not have one, it's okay. But I have a sandbox that I can just import things into, because then I can show you how it's done. It's going to take a few minutes for that to import. You don't expect it immediately. Also, when you're importing, understand that sometimes there's other people importing and it's going to take even longer. So if it takes a while, don't get real upset, okay? So now I'm going to go back to my class.
Hey, Pam.
Yeah.
Do people have to share their classes, or is like everybody's available?
No, I'm going to show that. That's where exporting a file comes in. Okay, so this has downloaded into mine. And I also, this is really cool. I put it as a link right here so that it goes straight to this class. And I changed it. So you can see where I changed it, North Oak Student Canvas Orientation. I took everything he did, and I think he got it from someone else within the district. And I just put whatever I needed to, wherever I needed to edit it. I clicked on the edit button, and I edited whatever it was, like North Oaks Middle School instead of North Ridge. But I was able to work within what he had, and here's the page that he did if I needed to add edit, anything else. Okay, so I'm going to save that. That was to show you how it's in there. And let me go back to my module. And like I said, I'm going to get them to put this over so that you can see every step. So once you finished, I click the download, then it's in here. The edits will not change anything on his. Now, let's say that you want to share a unit with your group and they don't want to go through the work of, let's find this, okay? This is a simple little video to watch, or you can read through the instructions, but you're once again going to go to settings. Actually, you're just going to go to comments. I don't know why I put settings. I'll change it. Okay, you're going to go to, nope, you are going to do this. Settings. And you're going to pick an assignment in here, and let's go to modules. Wrong thing. Okay, so it's going to say share to Commons. This is where you have to pick what you're going to put in there. Share to Commons. And then who can use this? You can put only you if you just want to find it for next year. You can save your lessons this way, your modules, your entire units. This way you can keep it where no one else has access to it. Okay, so if you go into who can use it and put only you, it's saved just for you. No one can see it. No one else can find it. You can also go to all of Birdville. And then, like I said, I clicked both of these because I wasn't sure. Here's the name of my course. And then describe it. Details for sharing, importing, and exporting. And then tags. These are the tags are important because you want people to know what it's about. So you can put Canvas. You can put teachers. You can, it's not one. Okay, there we go. Okay, you can put whatever you want, instructional. Okay, and then you have to have an image. So I always just go to Canvas and put, here we go. There's an image. So now my course, if you want to find it, is going to be just like this in Canvas. It's an easier way to do it. You can have a grade level. If I were doing this for my classroom or for my coworkers or for other people in the English Language Arts department, I would put just 8th grade, but because I'm not, I don't have to do that. Or I would put 6th through 8th or middle school level, whatever it was. And then I'm going to hit share. It's not finished processing, so you have to go back later. This is what I'm talking about. It takes it a minute, but that's now in Canvas as a shared document. So you don't have to worry about how do I find it, where do I find it. You can now use it, change the name on it, do whatever you want to, and you can use it if you were going to do, let's say, some training in your own school with your own team. Okay, let me go back to the dashboard again and go back. There's probably an easier way to do this, but this is the easiest for me right now. So that's the importing, exporting. Does anyone have a question on what I've done so far?
I think you were talking about how to export to just our team. Can we go, are you continuing on to that, or?
If you just want it for your team, that's where you can do the first one that I showed you. The, let me go back to it. The sharing. That's where you find your team member.
Because I saw it
You
said
have to know the name of the course to do it that way, right?
Right, right. But if you are sitting there, especially if you're together, it's real easy. You can text each other the name of it. You can, send each other a screenshot of the name of your class. It doesn't matter. You can find one another's. And I probably, I could have found one of Lacey's. I could have found hers if I knew what to look for and just send it to her, because Lacey and I used to work together on some things for.
And then I have a few questions when you're ready.
Pardon?
I have a few questions when you're ready.
Okay. When we worked with NJHS, we could have easily shared different things for the kids in Canvas to go to for information. Okay, question?
Okay, first, I tried to go to Commons to that filter thing you talked about so that I could change what they could see, and I couldn't do that. So again, how do I, because I don't really want them to see a syllabus that's a calendar or certain things that I might not necessarily use. How do I get rid of that again? Because I went to Commons and I didn't see that changing my class.
Okay, when you go to Commons and you're getting a unit, you're getting the entire unit. If you're sharing just a module, they are not going to see everything.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That's just a lot of information.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You can share an entire course, which is what I did, or you can share just a module. And to do that, you're going to go over here to settings, and let me see if I can do this right, because, and notice over here it's got the import export, the place I couldn't find before. Let's see, there is a way, because I've shared just units, not entire.
Are you talking about with other teachers or with students?
Oh, no, with other teachers. Anything the students get is in here. Everything that you give them is right here on Canvas.
Will they see all those buttons on the side?
They see their own buttons. There's a way, and I was trying to look again to see it. I was using it earlier in the week.
Will it look like that? Will they just have the pages?
It will have, yes, it will have the module.
Okay.
Where is the student view?
It was on your right corner.
Thank
On your
you.
right, you had a thing.
Go back to home.
Okay. I knew I saw it previously. Sometimes I just.
If you're wondering what the students see in your course, you
Right
go to
there.
student view.
There we go.
I see it. Okay.
Okay. So click on that. And this is what the students see. But that's where you had a class that teaches you how to hide these. And that's in settings. So you can hide some of the things here that they can't get to. Okay? So if you'll look at the settings, it will help you with that. One thing that actually my sister asked me to make sure to show and to share was the skyward linking. Are you interested? This is stuff.
Before you move on, with the sharing, what I've done in the past is we have one course that we work out of, and then we each have our own course. So we have a master course for our team. And then to share, you would go into where she said the importing, and then there's little tabs on the side of the modules. And when you click modules, then if you click that little arrow, you could go to the specific lesson to share that you can pull into your Canvas. So if your entire team is working off one planning together and you put everything in one Canvas, then when you go back to your individual Canvas, go back to that where she was importing, and then each one of you can pull your information out of that master schedule by using the tabs on the left-hand side of like the words modules or courses or quizzes. So you can pull individual quizzes, that whatever you want into that into your course.
So what you're saying is y'all made a new Canvas course.
Right, we had one master that we worked out of. That way we didn't have to put it into the Commons and export it out that way.
That's great. I was wondering about that. I haven't had the opportunity to share with a group on something. So that's an even better idea, is that you can all go in and do that. Perfect. Any other questions? Thank you. Okay.
Yes, my next question is, the district, are they creating these lessons? Like, is there something like they're gonna, when the courses load into Skyward, am I supposed to do it from there? Or I started building my own lesson. I'm like, am I wasting my time because they're gonna make one for me?
No, they will build the course for you, and that's where you will import what you have already created
Okay.
into your class. So you're not wasting time at all. Right. This to me is one of the most important aspects of Canvas, Skyward linking. And it has all the instructions here, but basically what it amounts to is, I'm going to show you, because I put this in just like an assignment. So I'm going to go to edit. And if I wanted this to count as a grade, as you're setting this up, and this is, you can always go back in and edit, but this is what links Skyward and Canvas. This is how your grades appear in the grade book through the Canvas. You do not enter them yourself. Don't even put it in your grade book. It does everything. I learned that my first year. You give it the points. That's up to you, however you do your points. I do 100 because I don't want to mess with 10 points here, you know, whatever it's worth. So I do 100. If they have to do an assignment, that's what it is. So it goes under assignments. Now, this is what's important. Here you choose, is it percentage, complete, incomplete, points, letter grade, whatever, you choose. If someone can tell me what the difference is in points and percentage, it's basically the same if you're going with 100. Now, notice this button. If you want the kids to do something, but you do not want this to go into Skyward, it's just something they're doing, you click that. Okay? If you want it to count, do not click it. This may not show up when you go into edit, but there will be another little question down here. Do you want this grade to count? And it will show up below. Okay? You know what? This is where I needed to change. Okay, where it says assignments, it's not what you want. You're in the grade book. Our grades appear as daily grades. Isn't that right? The two categories. And, wrong thing. Test grades. And it may not say grades. I may have to change that later. But that's where you want to tell it what this grade is. So it's 100 points, let's say, but it's only a daily grade. So that's where you put daily. Then, how do you want them to submit it? You know that one. They're either online, and you can put several. File uploads is when, you know, they copy what you're doing. On paper, that means there's no submission at all on here, but you still, if you do it on paper and you put that in, you have to go back in and put the grades in through Canvas. So if you're doing it on paper, you're going to want to put not graded. Make sense? Otherwise, my points. So this one's going to be, let's say,
I've been trying to figure out what tab you're on. Because I'm trying to follow along.
I'm
What are
on
you?
the assignment. On the assignment. You can't edit my assignment. When you're on one of your assignments, you can edit yours. But this is when you put your assignment in. Does that help? Okay. And every single assignment has this. Just because you put in the assignment here doesn't mean you're through. You have all of these questions to go through. So how do you want them to turn it in? I'm going to put file upload. And then how many times? I put unlimited because it has a due date. They can't submit anything past that due date. But if they turn something into me and they've turned in, let's say they turn in my original copy instead of theirs, I can go in and shoot them a message and say, hey, you submitted my copy. How about go back in and resubmit yours? And they're like, thanks, Ms. Starnes. You know, so I don't limit how many times they can turn something in. Or they may want to get it turned in on time and then say work on it a little bit before I grade it. They can do that. Just, you know, if they're improving on it, it does not matter to me. If you're doing a paper, especially ELAR, and they have to have peer reviews, this is wonderful. You can manually assign. I don't. I do automatic. I tell them they need 3, and then there's a due date. But this due date has to be later than this date. When you put your dates in that everything is due, this date for peer review has to be later. If you want it to be anonymous, you can do that too. One other thing that I do to get around the 504s and for all the kids who have extended time, I put it in. It's available from, let's say, whatever day today. But it's going to be due Monday. Actually, what I usually do is make things due on a Friday. And then I give them until, let's say, Monday, Tuesday, when I really want it in to grade it. And so then I'll put, okay, it's due August 5th. That's when I actually want to grade it. But by putting July 31st in and waiting until August 5th here, that gives me the ability to say, no, I gave them extra time even. You don't have to worry about late work in here. If you set it up, sorry. Oh, must have been me echoing. If you set it up like this, you've built in extra time for every single student. Guys, I do it in pre-AP and I do it in on-level.
I teach cosmetology, and I have a lot of students that, I hate to say it, but they don't turn it in until it's past due. And so I love the grade book being able to sync the grades, because I'll have students that are like, please don't sync it. My mom watches my Skyward and she's gonna be mad if I have a 0. And so being able to sync it the second it's due, or sync it at the end of class with that 0, helps a lot with accountability of getting that work in.
Do the students know
I will
that?
put zeros in also. Sorry, Ginger.
I'm sorry. Do the students know that there's the second date available, or do they just see the one date as a turn-in?
No, they see the due date and they see that they can turn it in until this date.
Okay.
And you're going to have those little precious that just aren't going to turn it in until this time. You can change, like this is 11:59. You can change that to 3:45. You can change it to 2 o'clock. You set the time, obviously. I
don't think you have to have, like, for tests, I always have a close time because you want them to be in that window. But for some other assignments, I always put in a due date, but I don't think I always even put a lock
On test, I just have one date that it's due. Yeah, I don't give extra, no.
Okay.
But on regular work, you've built in your grace time, and you've built it in not just for the 504s, you've built it in for everyone. So when you have that sweet little, person that the mama calls and says, well, they didn't know it was due. Oh, yeah, they did. And I gave them extra time.
Okay, and Pam, my question is,
Yes.
so on a daily assignment, for me, there's points off if it's late, but if they do it, Canvas is going to grade it as out of 100%. So you'll have to go back into Skyward and adjust the grade down if it's late.
Okay, now this is not a quiz, so you have to go in and grade these yourself. Okay? And if it comes up, the submission says late, you can take points off.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can tell them that up front. There will be points taken off, but you will be able to turn it in late.
Okay.
But you have all of the power in this. In quizzes, it grades it for you. And then when you do the sync, it syncs it off for, you go to grades, in case you've forgotten, because I haven't used this since May. When you go to grades and it says sync grades, and it may not come up with anything because, yeah. Actions, nope, don't do that. Don't do that. There's nothing to sync. So it would say sync grades, and then it would sync it. And yeah, it's not showing. Yeah. Also keep in mind that if you put assignments in, but you're not taking grade, they're going to show up here in their grades, and they will be able to see their grades, and so will their parents in Canvas. And as long as we're working virtually, yeah, everything is on Canvas. But once we're in the classroom, you may take things up or do things that are not in Canvas. And so parents need to understand that, no, the grades may not be the same because that's just what's done in Canvas. Make sense? Any questions? I know we're closing in on time, so.
When you put the due date, you said that you put the due date in, for example, as July 30th, yeah. And then you extend it out to the 5th or whatever of August. On the 5th of August, does the assignment completely close and the student does not have access to it anymore?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So that basically ensures that, because I know that last semester there were a lot of kids that were going back and doing 3 weeks worth of work at the very end. And so that is something that we have the option of doing, is to close it.
Complete control.
Thank you.
They'll see it in their modules, but when they click it, I think it tells them it's closed. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
And one more question on the due date. When the grades are in by the due date, that automatically goes into Skyward? And
no,
no,
you have to go in and grade the work. It doesn't grade daily work for you. You grade it, and then you have to go over, like I showed you, to grades, and you have to sync it.
Oh.
And when you sync it, it will show up. But once again, it may be delayed if you're looking at Skyward.
Okay.
Okay. One thing I've messed up on, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I've messed up on a lot, but one thing I messed up on is when I would sync my grades, and then let's say a kid turned something in and I would go into Skyward to change the grade. Well, then it kept coming back as a 0. It's because I didn't go back into Canvas and change the grade. And until I did that, the grade wouldn't change.
That's good to know.
I like, once you get used to it, I like the Canvas book gradebook better than Skyward. So I got where even if it was something I wasn't going to grade in Canvas, I would maybe put the points in there and what the assignment was for in class, and I would still use the Canvas gradebook, and I wouldn't use, you know, I don't work in Skyward at all, and once you get used to it, I actually think it's a lot easier.
Do you have to set anything up in Skyward before it starts syncing correctly?
No, don't do anything in Skyward. The most important thing you'll do is make sure that the part I was showing you right here, and it may just be daily and test instead of grades after it, but let me get back down to it. But this section has to match. This has to say the exact same thing as Skyward. So you'll have to go look in Skyward. I guess it, hint to those listening, if we could have them add that instead of having to put new group. If the Canvas team did that, it would save a lot of frustration, because if it's not on the right thing, like if you leave it on assignments, it will never sync. And then you're killing yourself trying to figure out, why is this not syncing? What have I done? And then you realize, oh my gosh, I didn't put this as a daily grade, or, you know.
And I think you, sorry, I think you have to write it the same. So like ours doesn't actually say daily, it just has capital DLY. And so I have to make sure that that matches exactly.
That's okay. And that's what I was talking about, that it has to be exact. Thank you. Are you elementary or high school or?
I'm high school, actually. I'm cosmetology for juniors and seniors.
Oh, that's right. So, okay. Any other questions, comments?
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm an art teacher at Haltom High School. Like when you said a while ago about people turning in late assignments and things like that, and we give them to that until date. So what about the ones who are going to pull that right at the last minute stuff and try to get their parents involved? And will this actually solidify us as saying, you know what, I gave them that time,
Yes.
and they do it, and I'm not going to change it. And so,
if you look at the code of conduct on, because I did, on when work is accepted, it says that they are to turn their work in on time. We are the ones who have allowed them to turn work in late because we don't want to fail them. Personally, and I'll probably get fired, but personally, I think if we set the first 6 weeks, even the first semester up, if we start this at an early age saying, I'm sorry it's late, I passed the due, I can't take it, I gave you extra days and you didn't do it, that we wouldn't have the problem by the time they get to you.
Gotcha.
And I'm just as guilty because, I want the poor baby to pass. No, let them fail. Let them fail. We're not failing them for the year.
Gotcha.
And I used this all last year, and I have lots of 504 and IEP students, and I never had any trouble because no one questioned it. The kids knew that they had 3 extra days, so they had no argument.
And they can't say I turned it in, but you didn't get it, you know, because it's right there. And so if kids miss school, I will have them upload their work, even if, you know, it was something paper that we turned in class, and then it changes color. So, you know, you have something to grade. So you don't just have to go back and open the assignment. You can go to the grade book and it'll be like, I think peach means that there's something new to grade.
And unless the district policy is changed, there is no rule that says you have to let them have extra time on daily work. And so that's already grace that's been given, that's not required to be given. So at that point, I mean, I explain that to parents. I'm not required to even do that. So to give them 3 extra days was already giving them that grace period.
Right.
I have a question. if this automatically grades certain things, or it automatically shuts it off after a certain time, can you change those times per student? Because what if you have a student that has extra time in their IEP?
That's where you've already added it. If you give the due date, you've already added the extra time. It doesn't tell you how much extra time. So see, I've added 3 extra days. But if I have kids who really struggled, then what I can do is come down here to this until date, and I can change it again. I can put, okay, so I'll let you turn it until the 6th. You know, maybe I overlooked it. I went, oh my gosh, that was a football night. I'm so sorry. Let me change that.
Okay, so then it would basically be, if this kid is supposed to get more time as compared to the other students in the class, you would just, here's the due date for everyone, here's the until date, and I'm not actually going to mark you off for late work for this particular.
I have a question. You see where it says assign to?
Let me finish with her first. Hold on. Okay. Yes, what you're saying is correct, but I don't reopen it. I will not this year. I'm not going to, because if I tell them that this is due July 30th, let's say, and I give them until August 6th, I've already given him an extra week. That's extra time. You get to set that extra time. They don't get extra time for as long as they want. That's something that's been totally misunderstood. They still have deadlines.
And in middle school, for their ARDS, we usually just give them 24 extra hours. We don't give them a week. We tell them on their IEP, you have 24 extra hours.
Yeah.
One thing that you can do is the assign button where it says add. You can go in and either add a specific student and give them a different day, or if you have an inclusion students in a class, you can actually give that class a separate due date from your on-level class.
You're absolutely correct, and I've never used it because
Where it says everyone right there above the due, if you click on everyone, then that'll bring up your course. That'll bring up the students in your course.
There's no one in my course.
In your course sections. So you can do what he was saying.
Yeah. You can do separate. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay,
but I've
friends,
never had to. Okay,
we have about 1 more minute or so to go. So if there's some wrap-up words, Pam, that you want to share, this would be a good time.
Anyone who needs any help, if you have any questions, I don't mind helping. I don't mind answering questions. I put my email on there, and I'll get Owen to help me upload the course, but it's also in Commons now.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
It. Bye.
Thank you, Pam.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Pam, before we go, I have a quick question about the sandbox.